Tonight on San Diego's Most Wanted, a multi-million-dollar reward. It could be yours if you can help us find the killers of an American customs agent. And one of our viewers is $1,000 richer after identifying this fugitive. Hear how your tips can pay off. Then, from street thug to the leader of the Mexican Mafia, now he's talking. We have an exclusive interview with Rene "Boxer" Enriquez. Plus, bogus bills are turning up in San Diego. What to do if you get one? And then a lawmaker with some strong opinions on border crime. We travel to Washington to ask some probing questions.
San Diego, this is Senator Dianne Feinstein. The FBI and local law enforcement need your help right now.
Welcome to San Diego's Most Wanted, the FBI Files. I'm Keith Slaughter. Thanks for inviting us into your home tonight. We're stepping up the fight against crime in a full half hour of Most Wanted. We're hunting down more fugitives, but we can't do it on our own. We need your tips, and your help matters. Working together with law enforcement, 41 fugitives profiled on Most Wanted are now captured and off our streets. But there are plenty more out there. If you know anything about the fugitives you're about to see, make the call to 1-877-EASY-TO-TELL. You can get up to a $1,000 reward for tips leading to the capture of any suspects on the show. Any information you give us can be left anonymously, so let's get to it. It's one of the largest rewards ever offered by the U.S. government. $5 million could be yours if you have information that convicts some killers. It involves the shooting death of ICE agent Jaime Zapata and the wounding of another agent. The attack took place in broad daylight on a highway in northern Mexico this past February. It was carried out by suspected drug gang members. A joint task force led by the FBI is set up to help Mexico find the killers. There have been some arrests, but there are more suspects out there. A $5 million reward is on the line. If you have any tips that could help investigators, all you have to do is call 1-877-EASY-TO-TELL. And your safeties are concerned, so you can leave your information anonymously. No questions asked. Our next suspect has ties to a drug gang, and he's still out there somewhere. We need to find Manuel Leon. That's just one of his names. He also goes by Manuel Dominguez, Manolo, D. Cervantes, and Daniel Miramontes. He faces multiple charges for conspiracy to smuggle drugs and illegal immigrants into the U.S. Leon is 40 years old and stands 5 feet 11 inches tall. He has black hair and brown eyes, and his weight's about 200 pounds. If you know anything about Manuel Leon, the number to call is 1-877-EASY-TO-TELL. Leon has ties to the Mexican Mafia, a violent gang formed in California prisons in the 1950s. So your safety concerns us. You can phone in your tips anonymously. The life of a high-level gang leader is the stuff of Hollywood films. But most real-life mobsters don't tell their stories. The code of silence runs deep. But one former leader of the Mexican Mafia breaks that silence. Rene "Boxer" Enriquez tells his chilling story, sharing some of the gang's inside secrets. Lynn Stewart joins us tonight with part one of her interview with Enriquez. Lynn, this guy's a lifelong Mexican Mafia member, extremely dangerous. What was it like sitting across from him?
Well, admittedly, it's very unnerving sitting across from someone who's already been responsible for at least the murder of 12 people. And I have to say the disturbing thing and somewhat frightening thing is that he's well-spoken, he's well-mannered, and at the same time, he is a cold-blooded killer. Take a look.
They pose a huge threat to the stability not only of your way of life, but your safety as well.
Cold-blooded killers. The Mexican Mafia, a criminal enterprise few have seen from the inside out and live to tell about it.
Living life as a mobster is about fear. It's about terror. It's about death. The Mexican Mafia is truly about death.
Donning the signature black hand that only made men can wear, Rene Enriquez, nicknamed Boxer, quickly rose to the ranks, earning his bones by age 22.
It's an awesome amount of power. It's the ability to call hits, it's the ability to run a crew. At that point, the highest point in my life, I had reached the pinnacle. I had become somebody. I was no longer just a Sdmw or a gang member, a high school dropout, or a druggie. I was now a mafioso. I was now a real life Mexican mafia member.
Membership into an organization that boasts about murdering more than 1,500 people.
It's harder to save a guy than it is to kill him.
Enriquez is credited with at least a dozen murders of his own.
I've done a lot of horrible things. We still had to earn our bones, even after having been inducted and done all those years of work to get voted into the organization. Now we had to go on killing for the organization.
He says the organization has 125,000 men and even some women who support it. With a clearly defined hierarchy, only about 1% become made men, a membership that extends for life with a death sentence for leaving.
You can't go outright and go ask to be a Mexican Mafia member. That's immediate exclusion forever. You know, you have to be picked by the Mexican Mafia. You have to have charisma. You have to have the willingness to kill for the organization. But more importantly, you have to have the willingness to die for the organization.
Enriquez describes a money-hungry criminal enterprise that uses brutality and violence as its commodity.
The Mexican Mafia now is a revenue-generating machine. We were flush with money. It was coming in huge increments.
The prison yard is their training ground.
We were using the system to actually cleanse money laundering. We were perfecting these techniques, and we started investing in treasury bonds, certificates of deposit, Bank of America bank accounts from a prison cell.
Enriquez says people at the very top of the organization were bringing in millions a year. He sold protection for people in his territory, and like a franchise, they could use his name in exchange for a fee twice a month, making about $100,000 a year while he was behind bars.
It's not about the dollars in my pocket, but rather the strength of my crew. I was creating an unbreakable enterprise.
But staying on top is a constant political battle. Enriquez says on the outside, he always had to appear more ferocious.
But there are so many different instances where I was really afraid.
Enriquez says he had to hide a knife in his body so he could do hits in prison.
I realized that I've lived a violent life. You know, and violence is cyclical. It'll come back to you.
Next week, we take a look at how Enriquez is working with authorities, and we also take a look at how he's helping to put other mafia members behind bars.
Thanks, Len. We're looking forward to that. Coming up on San Diego's Most Wanted, funny money. Counterfeit bills are turning up in one San Diego neighborhood. What you need to look out for. Plus, we sit down with California Senator Dianne Feinstein. She weighs in on border crime. That's all next. Stay with us.